the cleaning lady who cleaned house. In the heart of Chicago's glittering skyline, where skyscrapers cast long shadows over the streets below, a single act of cruelty set the stage for a reckoning that would shake the city's elite. Margaret Thompson, a 52-year-old black woman who mopped floors in the pristine offices of a real estate tycoon, was about to turn the tables on a man who thought he could humiliate her for sport. What began as a billionaire's cruel jest would end with a public unmasking, a cascade of consequences, and a legacy of justice that would inspire millions. This is the story of how one woman, armed with courage and a smartphone, brought down an empire of arrogance. Margaret Thompson had seen it all in her 8 months cleaning the 47th floor of the Sterling Tower, home to the offices of Raymond Caldwell, a 38-year-old real estate mogul whose fortune was matched only by his ego. Raymond, heir to a family empire, was the kind of man who thrived on power, tossing insults as casually as he tossed tips to valets. To him, Margaret was invisibly a black cleaning woman who existed only to scrub his coffee stains and empty his trash. But Margaret was far from invisible. She saw everything, heard everything, and, most importantly, remembered everything. It was a chilly Thursday night in October 2024 when Raymond's cruelty reached a new low. As Margaret mopped near his desk, he was on a speakerphone with his girlfriend, Chloe Bennett, a 29-year-old influencer obsessed with viral moments. "I need something unforgettable for Saturday's gala," Raymond barked, his voice dripping with arrogance. 200 VI senators, CEOs, the whole elite crowd. "I want entertainment that'll make them talk for years." His eyes landed on Margaret, and a twisted smile spread across his face. "Actually, I've got the perfect idea. Something to show our guests the difference between winners and, well, the help." Chloe's laughter crackled through the phone as Raymond's plan took shape. He kicked over his coffee mug, sending black liquid splattering across the marble floor. "Oops," he said with mock concern, his voice laced with venom. "Margaret, clean this up, you monkey." The racial slur hit like a slap, but Margaret's face remained stoic. Inside, a fire roared. She gripped the mop handle, imagining it was Raymond's throat. As she knelt to clean the spill, he pulled a crisp $100 bill from his wallet and slapped it onto the mop. "Here's a bonus," he sneered. "Now parade around the room with it. Practice for Saturday. My guests will love seeing how the other half lives." The humiliation was deliberate, calculated to crush her spirit. Raymond watched with glee as Margaret walked the room, the bill dangling like a badge of shame. Chloe, live streaming the moment to her 600,000 followers, squealed, "This is gonna be epic." Comments flooded in, most laughing at what they saw as harmless fun. But Margaret's eyes flicked to a corner of the room, where a small, hidden phone had been recording for 6 months. That phone wasn't just a device, it was her weapon, silently capturing every insult, every act of cruelty. As she completed her degrading circuit, she looked Raymond in the eye and said, "I'll be there, Mr. Caldwell. And I'll bring some very special gifts." Her voice was calm, but it carried a promise that made Raymond shift uncomfortably, though he didn't know why. Back in her modest apartment in Englewood, Margaret unlocked a wooden chest beneath her bed. Inside wasn't jewelry or cash, but a treasure trove of evidence. 47 old smartphones, each holding hours of recordings, a notebook cataloging every incident, and USB drives with meticulously organized files. Before cleaning, Margaret had spent 5 years in IT support, fired not for incompetence, but for being a black woman who outshone her white male boss. That experience taught her how to exploit systems both digital and human. For 8 months, she'd built a database of Raymond's sins, racist remarks, discriminatory hiring, wage theft, and, most damning, fraud in his bright future's charity. Margaret's partner in this mission was James Carter, a 46-year-old former security guard fired by Raymond for refusing to tolerate his abuse. Now a freelance journalist, James had taught himself investigative reporting, focusing on workers' rights. Over a video call, Margaret showed him her evidence. Folders labeled by date, each containing audio, video, and transcripts. March 10th, Raymond calls the black receptionist ghetto in front of clients, she read. April 15th, he denies a promotion to Juanita Alvarez, saying Latinos belong in the kitchen, not the boardroom. June 3rd, he brags to investors about hiring minorities for cheap labor to avoid complaints. James's jaw dropped. "This isn't just a takedown, Margaret. This is a revolution." She nodded, pulling up a live feed from Raymond's office, captured by a phone she'd wired to the building's Wi-Fi. Her surveillance network was a masterpiece: encrypted backups, real-time monitoring, and a private channel with 50,000 former employees and victims ready to testify. "He thinks I'm nothing," she said. "But invisible people see everything." Saturday night arrived, and the Sterling Tower's penthouse glittered with excess. Ice sculptures dripped, champagne flowed, and a jazz quartet played for Chicago's elite. Raymond, in a custom tuxedo, schmoozed with guests, hinting at his special entertainment. Unbeknownst to them, hidden cameras were broadcasting to 30,000 viewers online, a number growing by the minute. At 8:30 p.m., Margaret stepped out of a taxi, not in her worn uniform, but in a sleek black dress she'd saved for months to buy. Her hair was styled with precision, her posture radiating confidence. She carried a briefcase containing a tablet, a wireless microphone, and projection gear tools to turn Raymond's gala into his nightmare. The doorman, assuming she was staff, pointed to the service entrance. Margaret showed him her phone, displaying a legal document. She owned a 5% stake in the building, bought through a workers' rights nonprofit. The doorman stepped back, bowing. She'd won her first battle. As Margaret stepped off the elevator, Raymond froze, his champagne glass trembling. "Margaret, what the hell are you doing here?" he stammered. "Where's your uniform? You're the entertainment." She ignored him, striding to the stage where keynote speeches were delivered. Whispers spread as guests noticed her authority, so at odds with Raymond's description of his cleaning lady. She connected her tablet to the sound system and screens, ignoring Raymond's shouts for security. Her legal stake in the building left the guards hesitant; they couldn't touch her. "Good evening," Margaret said into the microphone, her voice clear and commanding. "Mr. Caldwell invited his cleaning lady tonight. Allow me to introduce myself properly." The screen behind her lit up, showing a live view count, 32,478 and climbing. "We're broadcasting to the world," she announced. "My name is Margaret Thompson, and for 8 months, I've cleaned Mr. Caldwell's office. Tonight, I'm cleaning something else's reputation." The room fell silent. Phones emerged as guests recorded. Raymond pushed through the crowd, shouting, "Turn that off." But Margaret clicked play on her first video, Raymond in his office, saying, "Why hire people with names like Jackson or Ortiz? We need normal candidates who fit our culture." Gasps rippled through the crowd. The second video showed him at a company party, slurring, "Diversity hires are for show. You put them in low jobs, snap some photos, and the feds leave you alone." Outrage erupted. A black woman in the crowd shouted, "I applied here last year. They said the job was filled, but it was posted again." Another voice added, "My son was told he wasn't a cultural fit, despite perfect qualifications." Margaret nodded, displaying a chart. In 2 years, Caldwell Enterprises hired 2 of 43 minority applicants, both for janitorial roles. Of 31 white applicants, 29 were hired, 15 for management. Raymond lunged for the microphone, screaming, "This is private property. You're breaking the law." Margaret's response was icy. "Illinois is a one-party consent state for recordings. As an employee, I had every right to document these conversations. As a building stakeholder, I have the right to speak here." The crowd's mood shifted from shock to fury. The final blow came with a video of Raymond on the phone, discussing his charity, Bright Futures is a tax dodge. "We raise $3 million, give $200,000 to schools, and the rest funds my business. Perfectly legal." A donor in the crowd sobbed, "I gave $50,000 to that fund." Another yelled, "That's fraud." The view count hit 300,000, and the hashtag Caldwell Exposed trended nationally. At 9:45 p.m., investigators from the Cook County State's Attorney's Office entered, alerted by the live broadcast. Raymond collapsed, trembling. "This isn't fair," he screamed. "I built this company. These people should be grateful I gave them jobs." Every word confirmed Margaret's accusations. As he was led away, he spat at her. "You're nobody, Margaret. Just a cleaning lady." She looked into the main camera and said, "I am a cleaning lady, Mr. Caldwell. And tonight, I cleaned house." The crowd erupted in applause. The fallout was swift. By Sunday, Caldwell Enterprises' stock plummeted 30%. The board fired Raymond as CEO, and federal investigators confirmed his charity fraud was part of broader financial crimes. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, his assets liquidated to compensate victims. Margaret, meanwhile, became a national figure. Her dignity and preparation earned her respect across divides. She testified before Congress, leading to the Margaret Thompson Workplace Protection Act, strengthening whistleblower protections. With James, Margaret launched the Fair Work Initiative, training workers to document abuse using technology. The program helped 10,000 workers report discrimination, sparking policy changes nationwide. Raymond's former company, under new leadership, became a model for reform, with bias training and transparent hiring. Juanita Alvarez, once denied a promotion, became VP of HR. Marcus, a security guard Raymond had insulted, was named head of security. A year later, at a Northwestern University conference, Margaret delivered a keynote on workplace equality. Among the audience was Raymond, released early for cooperating with prosecutors. In a stunning moment, she invited him on stage. Trembling, he admitted, "I was a monster. Margaret could have destroyed me, but she gave me a chance to change. I'm working with the Justice Department to expose others like me. It's a start." Margaret's response was profound. Justice isn't just punishment. It's transformation that makes us all better. The Fair Work Initiative grew with federal funding, and Margaret's story inspired a global movement. Back in an office building, she taught a young cleaner how to use her smartphone to document harassment. "They can take your job," she said, "but never your dignity. Sometimes, the cleaning lady cleans up everything." What do you think about Margaret's story? Have you ever faced or witnessed injustice in your workplace? Should people like Raymond be given a chance to redeem themselves, or is punishment enough? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Want to hear your perspective on confronting cruelty and standing up for what's right. Let's start a conversation about justice in our lives.